Oh, Buckeyes. Buckeyes, Buckeyes, Buckeyes. Why y'all give me an invitation here in the summer to talk Ohio State? Did y'all miss me, Buckeyes?
Did you miss me?
I know low key,
All
Buckeye
right,
fans
Barnell Hill.
y'all just love to hear me talk about Ohio State, right? Because I tell y'all the truth. I give y'all what the Buckeye writers won't give you. I give you the raw and uncut. I tell you that Ryan Day is overrated, right? I tell you that Ryan Day was a secondary. This is a knockoff version of Urban Meyer. I'm telling you that Ryan Day is feeling the pressure, right? He's fired everybody, everybody, right? Except for Tony. He didn't fire Tony, right? That's what dude. He didn't fire. Tony just left. Tony said, "Hey man, I'm not gonna stick around for this. Man, we lose this year. We all getting fired. Hell no, I'm gonna go coach your Sherrod." So, Buckeyes, I love y'all. Welcome to the stream, Buckeyes. You know we're gonna spend some time on Ohio State a little bit later on. I got a whole year to be talking Ohio State. So keep following me. Keep driving up the numbers in the stream. You know, they all count. Every view counts, Buckeyes. So don't stop watching. And even comment. I invite the Buckeyes to comment. Because you know, comments drive up the algorithm, man. So come on, Buckeyes. We want to engage today. Now that I got that.
Buckeyes, don't do it. Don't engage with this man. Please, I can't take it. Please don't.
I love the Buckeyes. I love the Buckeyes. All right. This Droppin Dimes, I love doing it because I love my fellas. I love DG. I love Daniel. I've been doing these dudes since they not knee high to a bullfrog, but a little bit like bullfrog adolescence. I've been doing them, right? You know, when they came up and were all American players, and now they are out in the professional sector doing their thing, and then they come here to share their sports knowledge and opinions from the perspective of guys who were in the arena. And they don't just rest on the fact that they played the game. This is one of the things I appreciate about you guys. Let me compliment you. You don't just say, I played, therefore I am. You back up your opinions with substance, right? Not all athletes do that. So let me commend you fellas for being substantive with your commentary.
Who you about to attack? Who you about to attack?
This feel like a setup.
Like a setup, man. You about to attack somebody. Somebody about to catch a stray. Somebody is about to catch a stray.
I can't just be feeling good.
No.
I can't just want to bask in the glow of this great day.
Somebody's catching a stray. Look out. Look out, former athletes who are current analysts or whatever. He's throwing strays.
That's not true. So this great Droppin Dimes show is brought to you by our friends at Destination Ann Arbor. They make it possible. They saw the vision that we were setting forth with this show, where we give you raw and honest opinions. We come together, we incorporate your opinions as well, and we tell you what we actually think are real opinions from real dudes. Obviously, talking a lot of Michigan, giving you a lot of inside perspective on that. Now, the other insight and the other perspective and vision that Destination Ann Arbor had was, you know what, we're going to get involved in the NIL way with student athletes, having them be ambassadors for what we do at Destination Ann Arbor. They are tour guides to all things in Washtenaw County. Where to go, where to stay, places to eat, events coming to town. AnnArbor.org is the website. We'll give you a QR code that you can scan. So whenever you want to know what's going on around these parts, you need suggestions to where to eat and where to stay, you're coming to town, or you live here, Destination Ann Arbor is your portal. Use it all the time. They are a resource, as you will continue to see. And as we showed you with our tour around Ann Arbor with Will Johnson, for his My Ann Arbor shoot, which was great. And the one that we're going to release with my fellas right here, we did a My Ann Arbor shoot a couple of weeks ago. But let's dive in. We got a number of topics to get to. We're going to talk about Tony Alford coming to Michigan momentarily. We got to start off as fitting, though, that with basketball, with the NCAA Big Ten tournament starting tonight, Michigan being on the opening night, that we talk some basketball. And it's obvious that based on our conversation last week, Daniel, that this is there's some questions to be answered by Juwan Howard at the end of the season that will determine his future. And while I think it's likely that he is retained, I think that's the way it is leaning. That is not a definite. It is something he has to answer all those questions that we talked about before. But you got differing opinions coming from the fan base. And then you got differing opinions coming from the former player sector, and there are rumblings of a disconnect amongst the former player alumni. Now, I am not, I haven't spoken to enough guys to really say. I know that you do, and you were at a reunion recently, and I wonder if you have any thoughts or feelings on where the former player contingent. I mean, is it a monolith? Are all former players kind of pulling in the same direction, saying support? Or is it more like the fans where you got guys all over the place? How do you think things are going?
To be honest, Sam, when we were at the reunion, it kind of seemed like everybody that was there wanted to support as much as they could given the circumstances, right? So it's not like and you hear rumors about other guys boycotting. They were supposed to be there, they weren't there. So I don't want to get into that because I don't know if that's, I don't want to put that out there and it's not true, right? Those guys probably, they have lives. So, but I think the biggest thing is if there is a disconnect, all of us have a right to feel how we want to feel, right? But if the rumors are true that guys have gotten together and giving a reporter information, he's going to release some sort of article and all these things that you're hearing and seeing on social media, that's where I think you have to kind of draw the line, right? I don't think that's acceptable. I don't think that's cool. Every man has a right to an opinion of whether they want Juwan going or whether they want a new coach, or everyone has an opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. But when you start doing things of that nature as a former player that affect the program negatively, I think you kind of have to check yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? I've had those moments early in my younger days when I was very opinionated about things that were going on with the program. But to be honest, Sam, it comes from a sense of entitlement, right? And I think the guys who are probably the most in their feelings about this situation are the guys who kind of helped build the program to what it became under Coach Beeline, and then now they see that it's this point. So I think those guys will be the most in their feelings. For me, I'm too far removed. I'm almost 40. like I'm going to support the program regardless, right? And no matter who the coach is. But at the same time, like you'll never catch me involved in any type of negative article or in any type of negative press that's going to affect the program. Not at this stage in life. So that's a good.
So give me your thoughts on this, Devin, because you come from a time where the divide amongst former Michigan players was very clear. Very clear. It's a lot less clear now that they won a championship, right? In 2020, I remember there being some former players like, hey, get Jim Honey. Hey, man, it was a lot of former players saying, hey, get Jim out of here. So we've been here before on the football side of things, and I'm curious your perspective on that. And is that something that's natural? Is that something that's okay? Or is that something that you amongst the former player contingent need to try to avoid and snuff out?
I think you definitely need to avoid, and I'll give like my own perspective of, because during that time in 2020 and before that time of Harbaugh being there, when they started off having a lot of success, and then it moved toward not so much success, right? In 2020, the issue for former players was you've completely excommunicated us from the building, from the program, and now you're not doing well. So now we got to speak out, because we couldn't really speak out, in the beginning because you were doing so well. But now that you've kind of shown that you maybe aren't capable in some people's eyes, now that it's a comfortability you feel since you did bleed for the program to speak out. Me personally, I'm not that guy, right? I'm in the group chat telling them, hey, the reason they doing so bad is because they treating former players wrong. We bled for this. But as far as putting stuff in the articles, and it's like family business. What are we doing? Because the thing is, if you want it to be better, you doing that doesn't make it better in any way. Because now you got dissension for recruits coming to the school, right? And a lot of it is just pride of being able to have your chest out about your former team, right? And you don't have that pride when the team isn't winning. Now you couple that with you bled for the program, and they're not treating you like you feel like you deserve to be treated. And a lot of it, like Daniel said, is entitlement. You couple that together and you get a bunch of disgruntled players who maybe didn't have the shake they wanted at Michigan, or the players that did play well and contribute a lot and gave everything and aren't treated well post, right? Because remember, as a recruit, you're being promised a lot, man. Hey, the biggest fan base, Michigan's always going to love you. Once you a Michigan man, you a Michigan man. Well, that's not always true as far as the program respectively goes, right? Michigan football, as much as I love Michigan football loves you while you're there, some of us. And if you're a big-time professional athlete, right? Yeah. But if you're just a guy that bled for the program, you went in every day, you went to class, you did all the things to become the Michigan man, they don't treat you – well, they didn't treat you as maybe you thought you should be treated, right? And so that's where you get a lot of disgruntledness. Now, the guys who are treated well and still talk crazy, I don't get it. What are you doing? You're just out here just trying to sabotage your own team, and I don't understand that. But I think the big change happened for football. Obviously they started playing well and all that, but leading up to that season, what was it, 21, when they went to win the Big Ten championship, beat Ohio State, Harbaugh made a complete shift. The doors were open. People could come in and move throughout and kind of talk. He brought guys to talk to the players, all these different things. And so the former players, maybe it wasn't every former player that got to do some of that, but they would hear from other former players like, hey, I got to do this and whatever. And it's like, okay, so they love us again, right? We get to go watch spring practice and feel like we're a part of what's being done in Ann Arbor. And I think that was the big change. And as much as people say, oh, well, it was only the strength coaches or the changing coaches, I think the change in allowing people who bled and can share with these young players on what it means to be a Michigan football player, what it means to be a Wolverine and kind of be around, I think that really helped because most of the really good teams, they allow their former players to come back. And I think Michigan football has moved towards that. I don't know about Michigan basketball.
So tell me this, man. I mean, what if I'm a former player? I just to speak up for some of the guys who might have that opinion. How do you show a dissenting opinion? How do you show your discontent? How do you show your displeasure? What's the proper way to do that?
That's the toughest part for me, Sam, man.
Yeah.
Because so for me, right, so I'm in group chats and people share, whatever. And, we had our show, Sam. So those messages are relayed to me and I can kind of try to navigate them throughout our conversations and things like that. But there are certain former athletes that go on the internet and it's just not the place, right? It's not the place to just go hammer your former team or the coach, whether you like the coach or not, right? You try to find other avenues and definitely leaking information to people who aren't with you as well. I don't understand that. And so the idea is find somebody that's in a position to help, I guess, and get that information to them and help them. People like Sam Webb, who has an open door policy. Don't go to his job though, or go to his house, but tweet him or message him. A lot of people, mostly every former player you help recruit, it seems like. So they all got your number. Hit Sam up and let him know, and Sam will do his work. But I think that the avenue in which players take, where they just openly not only attack the coach, but attack these young kids who are now getting paid. So let's not act like they're just so young, but it's still like, man, that's not going to make anything better, right? We're in the business of trying to make it better for us so we can brag, right? So me and Daniel can walk around with our chest out like, national champs,
Yep. Hey, but that's you, Devin. You're exactly right. And Sam, like everything Devin said started with basically giving access to the program. I think as former players, we have to lose that sense of entitlement. Like just because you played or just because you've done this, they're supposed to just roll out the red carpet every time you show up. First of all, that's not how life works, right? Like I'm pretty sure just because they don't roll out the red, they appreciate what you contributed to the program. I know for me,
but that's what Daniel just said Harbaugh did though.
Yeah, no. It's okay if they do that. That's a plus, right? I think you shouldn't expect that, right? I think when you expect that, you have that sense of entitlement. When you come around, they may be busy or they may be whatever. They have lives and jobs, and so they may be busy. You may take offense to something that's not really meant to be offensive. So I think as former players, if we lose that sense of entitlement and gain a more attitude of support and agency instead of, hey, like I deserve to give my opinion, or I deserve to when I show up, roll out there, give me a pair of shoes, give me this, give me that. Like and to be honest, Sam, I had that sense of entitlement initially as well. And as you get older, you get far enough removed from it, you understand that it's not Michigan basketball, Michigan football will never be about one player. It never be about one group of players. The school has been there for 100+ years competing in both sports, and it'll continue on long after you're gone. So lose a sense of entitlement and just support the program no matter who's the coach. Like I said, I had to go through that that growth, and I think a lot of guys could probably use a little bit of that as well.
Okay, so
Sam, I think it's a happy medium though.
Yeah,
it's somewhere in between rolling out the red carpet and completely excommunicating people who bled.
Yes,
because as much as the entire, there is some entitlement that comes with. I was coughing up blood for a week after that game. You know what I mean? And you know, obviously Sam knows a little more than everybody else, but I coughed up blood for a week after a game. Not necessarily red carpet, but show some respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Can we get to a spring practice? Can you know those different things like that, just to make people who fought with everything didn't get to take the classes they maybe want. So maybe now they're in a job that they don't really want because they couldn't really take the classes that they wanted because they did, you know, football and it was most important thing for them. I think it's somewhere in the middle.
So tell me this, fellas. I mean, you know, does that mean though that you can't publicly offer an honest opinion? So I'll give you an example. And Daniel, we had an honest conversation last week. I made very clear, listen, and much to the chagrin of a lot of people, I heard it all week on the message board. Sam, I'm so disappointed in you. I'm so disappointed that you think that there's any scenario under which Juwan Howard should get an extra year. And I do. I think given that he meets certain criteria, like we got to sit down and just like to lay it out again, you know, tell me what you think the problem is. If it's just you had a heart condition, I'm sorry, that's not enough for me. No. If we talking about the portal and you think it's all Michigan's fault, that's not enough for me. I mean, you know, if you think that there's all you got to do is bring in the recruiting class, that's not enough for me.
Yeah, no.
Like, you know, I need a series of things. If I'm Ward Manuel looking at this, I need a series of answers to these questions that makes me feel comfortable with thinking that you should get a chance to turn this around. I happen to think that he'll answer those questions satisfactorily, but he still has to do that. Now, but can you, as a former player or any former player, step up and say, you know what? I listened to Juwan say after this last game, you know, you know what, I think Doug shoots a shot, it comes off, and Tommy Naga comes down the court, and nobody picks up the ball in transit, and he just waltzes right to the rim for a layup. And Juwan said after the game, he said, man, that can't happen. Phil Martelli on the show this morning said that's embarrassing. There's no excuse for that. Now, here's the problem. They've been saying that all year. You said last week, that's not a coaching issue, Sam. You said that's a culture issue, Sam. And so when I hear that, now that's an honest opinion, saying that, you know what, you got a situation where you don't have, from a culture perspective, guys on the floor that hold each other accountable enough to prevent that from happening all season long. That needs to change. In the same way that Jim Harbaugh didn't just change staff, he said, I got to change the culture in my locker room. I got to change the culture on my team. Now, can a player say that and not be seen as a hater? Can a fan say that and not be seen as a hater? I mean, is that acceptable?
I think so, man. I think that a lot of the stuff that Daniel gets furious about, right? It infuriates him. Is like the personal attacks and coming from people who probably aren't watching the games, aren't finding solutions. I personally do not like people who complain with no solutions. If you're not going to offer up suggestions other than, hey, he just need to be fired. Wait, that's it? Like, that's all it is? It is nothing else? No other, like real analysts of what's going on. Just he need to be fired. We can't do this. Like, come on, man. You have to do more homework. Or like you said, if I'm Ward Manuel, why would I listen to you? Right? You've done nothing to have a real voice and a real opinion on the subject, except for you played for the program.
No, I agree, Devin. You have to, with any piece of information you're receiving or any type of analyst or whatever you receive, you have to consider the source, right? And to be honest, all former players aren't the best sources for multiple reasons. Like we know, we're in the locker room with them all the time. Like, you know, Dev, you play with some guys. This guy here don't know a lick of football, but he can run a 4-3.
He don't know, which is real good.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's the same in basketball. Like it's one of those things where you you consider the source, you consider that guys are emotional based on things that they may have done or helped build at Michigan. And you understand that it's respectable. You can look at the record, look at the things that they may have been told or may have heard through the grapevine with the program. So you can kind of understand where they're coming from. You can understand their point. I'm not saying they don't have valid points or they don't have valid criticism, but the form in which you voice that criticism, especially when you have access to the program or you want access to the program, come on now. You can't talk crazy and then expect to come around and think you're going to get access.
But can I say that? Because that's real. That is a real thing. If you're talking about that kind of issue, effort plays, communication, things that you know they're coaching. If they're making that, now that comes. Phil said this morning, we don't have a team that listens very well.
No, Sam, he's right. Every team in America preaches defensive balance. When the shot go up, if the point guard isn't shooting, the other two guards are supposed to get back. If somebody else shoots, the point guard is first. That's taught in every gym by every coach in American college basketball. So that is not coaching.
Yeah, and so my point is, now that it is coaching. If you got a team full of guys who don't listen, that is coaching because you put the roster together.
Yeah,
so that
from that perspective,
Now that's a fair criticism. That's an honest criticism. Does that mean that I can't have access to the program if I'm someone who says that?
Not if you voice it. Not if you help a sports writer or a beat writer write a negative article or negative press about the program. No, that's not how that works, Sam. You know, all of this is about relationships. Coaches hire guys because of relationships. People get access to the program because of relationships. There's guys now that have access to the program now because Juwan is a coach that didn't have access to the program under the previous coach. That's just how life works.
See, what
so if you want that, or if you want, or you value that, you can't be in public talking crazy. I'm not going to let. If I'm the coach at home, Sam, if I'm the coach, I'm not going to watch a guy say something crazy in the media and then come sit in my office. Not unless you're going to repeat it to me.
Right, and that's what I was taught. That's what I was taught. First person, coach, who told me that, who got on me because I said something, and Lloyd Carr said, "Listen, okay, I disagree." Like, he was mad, he was pissed off at what I said, and he said, "Okay, but if you can say that in my face, whatever you say, if you can say it in my face, I can respect that. I can tell you pissed me off.
Yeah,
but we can talk about it and move on." And that's been my relationship, man. There has not been a coach who I've covered, especially football, who I've covered, who hasn't been like, who got pissed off and called me in office like, "Man, what the hell was that?" Right? None more than Jim Harbaugh. Like, he was the most. He was the most. It was, hey, the very last, I was like, "Hold up, man."
Hey, Jim Harbaugh, you was in Jim Harbaugh office more than I was in any coach office.
Principal's office.
Yeah, man, my goodness, Sam. This boy always getting down to the principal.
The crazy thing about Jim is it could be like the next day. He's like, "Hey, Sam, how you doing?" Right?
Like, it's all good.
Like, it's all, as long as it was one of those things where what you said, hey man, say it to me.
Yes.
And don't be gratuitous.
Yes.
Don't take liberties. Don't just take shots because you want points with people out there.
Yeah.
Right? You know, if you got an honest opinion, I might tell you I disagree with it. I think that's some bull. You know, but if you can say to me and we can talk about, we can move on. And that's been my experience with every coach. And so, I think that there's a place for former players. Now, not speaking up for I think there's a place for them to voice what they see is wrong with the program without being a saboteur. I think there's a way to do that.
I agree.
I mean,
and you have access. If you have,
it's always been not necessarily what you say, how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Have some finesse, man. Have some finesse. Don't just go with all the. It's certain words, trigger words you can use, and attack type words when you're talking about something that you know. And a lot of it feels like malice, right? As long as it doesn't feel like malice, right? As long as it doesn't feel like you're intentionally just trying to sabotage, I think it's all good, right? But we've heard some people who aren't just giving an honest opinion. They're attacking the programs, right? For whatever reason, didn't play well when they were there. Don't get the love they want now because they did play well. Entitlement, wherever the case may be. We know former players that attack the program. Not like, hey, this is just my honest opinion. No, this is an opportunity for me to try to tear the program down that I think doesn't love me the way that I loved it.
And after tonight, Sam, let's be honest. After tonight, this next week or two is gonna It's gonna be a lot of that. Like it's
What
gonna
if they
be a
go win
lot
the
of people.
championship?
Huh? Yeah, hey,
What if they go win it from 14 seed?
From your lips to God's ears, first of all. Second of all, like it's gonna after tonight or whenever it ends, man, it's gonna be a landslide. And if if that's what they really want, they're gonna have to really dig in and survive this next week or two, because I believe there's gonna be some stuff come out that's gonna be
and I think Juwan is gonna have to try to clear, like it's gonna have to be a clear vision.
Mhm.
And it is not, it's not all Michigan, it's not all the players. It's going part of it, a big part of it is okay. You got a team full of guys who don't listen well, who don't necessarily, from a culture perspective, represent how you want it to be. But these are all guys you brought in. How are you gonna flip that around? Like right now, like in an instant? Because it's not enough to just have a winning record. Like you got to be right back competing again next year the way Harbaugh was, and that's existential, not just for him. That becomes existential for the man making the decision in War Manual, who in 2020 he's talking not only to his former player brethren, many of whom, some very publicly, like, hey, get him out of here, right? But privately they're doing that, leadership doing that. He is clearly putting his neck on the line with a lot of people who could chop it at that time, and it worked out with Jim. If I'm gonna do that for Juwan, okay, convince me. Convince me. Now he can be convinced, much to the chagrin of a lot of players. I mean, of a lot of fans. He can be convinced, but it's gonna take some convincing. So listen,
hey, I don't get that, Sam. The hate for Ward and this whole situation it feels a bit weird, because it's like we as Michigan fans and Michigan supporters, we latch on to these narratives and just run with them and beat them in the ground, and like they're not based in any reality, right? And some of that is seeping over into the Juwan situation, but he has, and the team has also earned a lot of that as well. So
no doubt. All right, so we need to segue over into talking some Michigan football. Hey, I see some Buckeyes.
They going crazy in the chat, baby.
Yeah, they talking about Sam. Hey, is
Sam Webb? Sam Webb.
Is it a scam if I give it to you for free?
No, forget that. His name is not Sam Webb. His name is Two Straps, and you better not forget it.
Is it a scam if you get it for free? I'm lacing y'all with the real info. Just pay attention. See, Sam, you bite the hand that feeds you.
Ohio State fans have to be, just stomach hurt for these last few years, because you've been right. For the last, they can, like, literally, they gotta be like, man, I might want to we might need to hire Sam to be our guy.
Yeah, come on,
trying to steal you at some point, man.
Hey, I love the Buckeyes. You know how much joy you give me, Buckeyes? I have, these last few Novembers have been so joyous for me. Like, I haven't had Novembers like this in a long time.
See, this is the problem. Congratulations, you got our scrapes. I'm sorry.
Hey, Sam, telling them leftovers on that Saturday.
Underwater basket weaving degree. What are we doing? Come on.
All right.
Those Thanksgiving left. Oh, I'm sorry.
Before we jump off into the Buckeye conversation, I do want to take this opportunity to preview again our My Ann Arbor tour, and it's a tour not just around Ann Arbor, but Washtenaw County, brought to you by our friends at Destination Ann Arbor. So first things first, Ben, can you drop the track, my brother? Great. Don't you love it? Don't you love to see it? It's just so beautiful when you see that great video. Is it not?
Don't you agree?
What that boy say? Sexual chocolate. Hey, we love Coming to America around here. I was just watching it a couple weeks ago, right? It is
always, we get off the show.
It is always so fun to check out. Hey, Ben, did I send you the clip, the My Ann Arbor clip? Do you have that?
Of me winning or what? What is it?
You didn't see it. Oh man. All right. So fellas, if you can take a couple seconds to kind of talk about the My Ann Arbor experience, I'm gonna show people this great video clip of our My Ann Arbor tour. But Tell them about your experiences. We went around Washington County a couple weeks ago.
You mean my experience or whose experience?
Yes, Devin. Yes, Foaling, you won. Okay, talk about everything.
So my Ann Arbor, first of all, outstanding. Steady Droppin Dimes wouldn't be possible without it. And we went on this tour. It was great. It was great. I mean, all things Washtenaw and Ann Arbor area, everything. I mean, we went to had a nice cigar, a little tutti frutti cigar. It was great. And after the cigar, we went.
My man said,
where we go, Daniel? I can't. Where we go?
I'm still stuck on fruity cigar. That's crazy.
It was called Tutti Frutti. It was great. It was awesome.
I thought it was 20 minutes from Detroit or something.
The flavor was Tutti Frutti. Would you stop deflecting? Would you stop? You know we were going here. Just shut it up and let me have my moment. Okay. So we did cigars. I got a nice video. It was real cool. All that. Put it on the internet if you want to check it out at Devin Gardner XCI, Instagram and stuff like that. But after the cigars, where we got the cigars? Fouling. It's bowling and football mixed, right?
I thought it was a beer factory.
Yeah, it was beer there too, but it was more. So we're doing this, but leading up to that, even the days before or weeks before, I said, guys, I haven't been fouling in a long time. I went when it first came out. I haven't been a long time, but the thing is, quarterbacks and maybe pitchers, people that are throwers by trade, usually don't do well simply because of the trajectory that you have to throw the ball. You don't throw the ball at the ground, right? And so when you first go in, they always give that soliloquy for first timers, like, hey, don't worry about it. If you're not a great thrower, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You still probably the best throwers don't do well. Matthew Stafford did not do well in fouling when the Lions went when it first was invented. Then we went and I made it clear that I was going to dominate the day in fouling. I said all that to say, no matter what that is all about, it doesn't work out for quarterbacks. I'm going to beat both of you. I'm going to dominate you. That's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And usually people make promises like that. I was almost JJ McCarthy. I was almost JJ McCarthy that day because I made a promise to you guys.
Can I just show the clip?
I fulfilled that promise.
Can I just show the clip so we can talk about Tony Alford? This is the clip.
This guy, man.
Of my Ann Arbor. Here you go.
Did you like my soliloquy, Sam? Did you not like my long soliloquy? That's me.
Oh, that's me.
Brought to you by Destination and Who is this?
How you doing? You don't know you? Easy with the benefits, baby.
Easy.
What's going on, kid?
Good.
You all right?
Hen dog.
Excuse me, man. Can you give him the
some of that hen dog?
Give him the 17.
That was a warm-up game.
The Michigan legend is going down. The quarterback is going down.
He's a quarterback. He's supposed to win.
Hey, I'm a quarterback too, Sam. It's a different sport. It's a different sport.
Nice throw, Daniel. Nice throw. Oh! Man. Yeah, there's not a lot of good decision makers. It's not a lot of good decision makers.
Congratulations. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was doing it with my mouth. The best way. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coming soon, that full episode. It was a ton of fun. And we're gonna
Was it for you too, Sam? Was it both of you?
Stop it, bro. Listen, we
Hey,
got
Sam.
Buckeyes. We got Buckeyes to talk
All
about.
right. Move forward.
We got Buckeyes to talk about. So be on the lookout for that episode. It's going to drop next week. My Ann Arbor, brought to you by our friends at Destination Ann Arbor, where we take you on a tour through places that we love in Washtenaw County. And the same thing with student athletes. We did an episode with Will Johnson. We're going to be doing other student athletes in the coming months. So be on the lookout for that. It is a great series. Of course, brought to you by a great sponsor, not only Destination Ann Arbor, but Golden Limo, who they put the party bus together. Party bus is great. All of your transportation needs, whether in Southeast Michigan or abroad, one call to Golden Limo can get you set up from your doorstep to the airport to where you land and all the way back. One phone call sets all that up. Doesn't get any better than Golden Limo at goldenlimo.com. So, Ben, can you give us the QR code so people can scan it when they want to check out Destination Ann Arbor and all the places to go and see and eat and stay in Washtenaw County? Be sure to check them out. Here is the QR code. Be sure to scan it whenever you want to know what there is to do in Washtenaw County, whether you're visiting or you live here. Check out Destination Ann Arbor. If you're listening to this, go to myannarbor.org. Excuse me, not My Ann Arbor. It's annarbor.org. Again, annarbor.org, annarbor.org. All right. Yes, sir.
Can I give a shout out real quick?
Real quick, man. Real quick. We got to talk to some Buckeyes, man.
I want to give a shout out to Stephen Cherry, who is he going through some things for the last 3 years. He has had nothing to live for. Stephen Cherry, Buckeye. Everybody just showing some love because his team is garbage. They doing everything they can. And he just, for the last 3 years, his emotional state has been a little off. He probably be he be punching the air a lot, probably like just punching the air a lot. And I just want him to, feel better. Can we welcome Stephen Cherry to the chat?
Okay. Before we do that, Ben, drop that track one more time, my friend. Oh, Buckeyes. There's a scene in Friday where Smokey asked Craig, how you get fired on your day off?
What the heck? What you still about this for?
Does that happen?
You trying to go to the clubhouse?
How does Ryan Day take another L in the off season? You're not even playing the game. And Ryan Day is taking these L's, getting that ass cracked every single. Like, how else can you lose, Ryan Day? I mean, you got the fan base. Ohio State fans are outstanding. Yeah, y'all just love your Buckeyes, right?
They love their Buckeyes so much they come to Michigan stuff.
Come on. We get more Buckeyes in our stream. Sometimes seem like the Michigan fan. I talk more to Buckeyes on a daily basis some days than Michigan fan. That's how dedicated Buckeyes are. So you got a dedicated fan base, Ryan, right? They let you fire every one of your coaches. Like nobody say anything. Like you can fire everybody and they still saying, okay, but it's going to be all right, right? You're not the problem. Clearly it was everybody else, not you, right? And they let you go. Great support, right? You got home field. Now this season they let you buy everybody. Like you got everybody you could possibly want in the portal, right? You go and you get a dude who was running from his job at UCLA. Like you're able to get him to come in and have no pressure being the OC, right? So they let you do that. You at home. Michigan doesn't have Harbaugh anymore, right? I mean, you got all these things lined up. You can't keep your running back coach. You just got the number one running back in the portal. You got the number one running back in the country a couple years ago. You loaded, and he still left. Like, how do you lose your running back coach stack like that? How does that happen? And not only that, you have no idea it's coming. How bad is that you done had this man coaching your spring practice for like 5 or 6 practices? Like you had no clue, 0 clue that he was talking about leaving for Michigan. No sense that he was looking for something better. How is that? I mean, what must that say about how they feeling? What coaches are really thinking about Ryan Day down in Columbus? If you got a dude who's been working there for 9 years, And as soon as there's a turnover at Michigan, he's like, hey, man, I sure would be interested in coming up there. Now, you can look at it this way. You can say, if you want to feel good about Ryan Day and say, this is not a Ryan Day issue. This is not about Ryan Day changing. This is not about Ryan Day feeling the pressure, right? And what do we say is a sign of him feeling the pressure? I mean, one of the most vivid, I've talked about it before, right? So listen, full disclosure, Al Washington is my dude. No bones, no qualms about it. I admit that is partially personal, right? He did Al dirty. Ryan Day did Al Washington dirty because Al, now he was at Michigan. He was in line for a promotion, right? You get it with Matty. Matty left to go to Ohio State. He got like a $600,000 raise and he got a coordinator tag. So of course he got, and the man is what? He's like 2 more years to go. You mean to tell me he could pad his retirement in the last few years? Michigan fans don't get that. I understand. I understand why. But Al was torn. I've talked about this before. Al was like, man, I'm about to get a promotion at Michigan. I'm feeling it here. But Ryan Day that's my boy. We worked together at Boston College. That's my dude. He telling me to come back. I'm from Columbus. My dad is an alum. I'm gonna go there and work. And so what does he do? He moves Kerry Combs in as DC. This after half of the left. But he moves Kerry Combs in as DC. And you think that's gonna go right? And then so when you broom him, you broom your man Al Washington too. I mean, I talked to some coaches say, man, he feeling the pressure down there. Like he acting real different these days. You can tell like he got to evaluate his coaches every year. Last I checked, coaches keep changing, head coach stay the same, ass keep getting kicked. What common factor? Am I saying something that's wrong? Am I saying something that's wrong? You changing everything else but you, and your ass keep getting kicked. That sounds like it's a you problem to me. But okay, let's pause for a second and say he's not really acting different. That's not why Tony left. Maybe Tony is looking at it like, wait a minute. Maybe he's looking at it like Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly running away from getting fired, right? He knows if he doesn't have another good year, he out of there at UCLA. Now, he stepped into a similar situation with less pressure, though, right? He's soft like that. Okay. But when you talk about Tony Alford, hey, man, you got your man, Sharon Moore, who you go back with. That's your dude. You know, Michigan, physicality is not just a saying. It's not just a soundbite acting all tough against Lou Holtz, right? It's not just a clip. It's a real thing. It's a mentality. It's not just a mantra. It's a way of life at Michigan. So I could go be a part of that, right? Where it's real. Now, this is no disrespect intended to Ohio State players because he recruits tough players. Michigan recruits a lot of the same guys. Players super tough. I don't think Ohio State, I don't think any of the players are soft. Well, every team has some soft players, but I don't look at Ohio State and say they got a bunch of soft players. They don't have a soft team. I said it before. They got a soft scheme, which just got softer with a soft-ass coach that just came from UCLA. So he might just be looking at like, man, I'm surrounded by Charmin up in here. If I want to go get some real live, bona fide toughness, if I want to escape these ass kickings every single time, if I want to be sure to have some job security, because if we lose, we know we out of there in Columbus. Like they gave you everything. You lose now, you done at Ohio State. Even the Buckeyes. What's my man name? Steve Cherry. Hey, Steve. Hey, it's not a scam if I'm giving it to you for free, man. You here. Are you paying me, Steve? Are you offering me money for my time right now? Yeah, I'm lacing you for free. So I keep telling you, accept the charity, right? So I mean, if Tony is looking at it like, man, I could go up there.
Sam, what was he looking around saying?
like damn. That's
That's the quote. That's the quote in Dimes history. We got to put that in Dimes history. I'm looking around. I'm surrounded by Sherman.
Hey, he had one earlier when he said he just soft like that. We got to add that one too.
What is wrong with this man? Sam? What is wrong with you?
hey, man, this is one of the greatest days ever. Because don't you have to be? I want y'all to comment on it. I'm not trying to filibuster here. Let me let you, especially you, Daniel, because I know you got a scoop, and Devin has more time to talk. But just your take on a guy flipping in the rivalry without the same kind of lures that Greg Madison had, and that Al Washington had when they flipped. This to me is way worse than that.
Yeah, no, that means he really wanted to be here, right? He's not getting unless he's, like you said, it's not a super pay raise, not all these different enticements. He really wants to be a part of the Michigan culture, right? And that stings more than if he was coming for some sort of pay raise or enticement. He's coming because he wants to be a part of what Sharon Moore is building. That says a lot as compared to if he's already at your rival. Like you said, 6 days into spring ball, he's looking like, man, we're not gonna beat these guys with this. Y'all have a running back job open? Okay. No, it's definitely that's huge though. It's one of those moves that, not only on the football field, but also on the recruiting trail, right? It's gonna pay big dividends for Michigan. So it's exciting. It's pretty exciting.
All right, Daniel. I know you got to get your son over to practice. So go ahead and scoot. We'll see you next week, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, don't be riding around with Charmin in your car.
No, sir.
I don't want your son seeing Charmin. Use different toilet paper. Use paper towel.
Hey, my son will be a Wolverine. We chop wood over here, baby.
Hey, tell him you wipe your butt with that tree bark. We don't use Charmin in this house.
Hey, but Sam, quick update, man. We went 2-3 in Birmingham, Alabama, one of the biggest youth tournaments in the South, man. We did pretty good. We building. If anybody wants to come support us, find us on Promise Elite, find us on social media, make a donation. We out here, man.
All right. Appreciate you, Daniel.
All right, yes,
all right, Ben, give us the 2 box. Give us the 2 box. Appreciate you. All right, so Devin, hey man, what do you make of this move?
So do you want me to which Devin you want? You know what I mean? Do you want
dealer's choice,
civilized? Because you've already been pretty uncivilized. So I think I'm gonna be civilized, right? We gotta have some balance here on Droppin Dimes, and we can talk after, okay? Actually, we talked earlier. We're good to go, right? So I'm gonna be real civilized about it. And so I think you were I'm not gonna say exactly right in everything you said, but you had a lot of validity to the things you were saying. And I think it was kind of a kind of look around of like, okay, we had a really good team 2 years ago. They popped us. It was the snow. Remember all the excuses. It was the snow. It was the signs. It was this. It was that. All right. We come back the next year. We presumably have a better roster again, right? Just because of, you do the recruiting rankings and how they do in the portal, all that. And they get waxed again worse at home. And it's just like, all right, now, right? You go again. You move on to the next year. And I think that some of this, because you talked about Ryan Day and firing everybody. And I want to be clear in saying this. I get it. I don't know what I would do if I got $10 million on the line. However, I imagine most people will save their own butts. So whoever has to go, right? So I'm not going to just act like I'm not going to get on this pedestal and say, oh, no, I'm so real. I'm giving my $10 million back too. Shoot, I ain't blaming no. Let's not get too ridiculous. However, it does look like hey, I got to find out whose fault this is outside of my own, because I'm not giving my money back, right? And so you blame the defensive coordinator and who this and this guy, and now they blame the quarterback, who I thought was a pretty good player. I thought he played well. I think they're going to miss him this next year coming up, but it remains to be seen. Their quarterback room is young, got some good talent in there, and then they get an older guy who's going to make a lot of young mistakes, which is really going to mess. I'm telling you, Chip Kelly is not going to like that. He's not going to like an older guy making young mistakes. Now you got to thrust a young guy into duty. I think they're going to have some turmoil there. But the quarterback was next. Well, who's next, right? If I'm Alford, I'm looking around. Who's next? It's probably me. Somebody else is next. I'm sorry. And it's probably going to be all of us. We're all going, right? I don't think that the Ohio, even Steve cherry blossom over here. I'm sure he is not thinking, yeah, give them one more year if they lose again to Michigan. No, that's not how it's going, right? And so, but the one thing, he's a running back coach. What does Michigan lean into more than anything? And when we talked earlier, I told you we lost players because of how good a coach and recruiter that this man is. I got a chance to talk to him on the field at Ohio State versus Maryland in the shoe. And I had never met him before, but, you know, he seen me out. We had a conversation, and it was like, man, you're not like an Ohio State guy, it seemed like. Like, you like civilized. Like, you're a cool dude, you know? And I'm not going to sit here and say that I saw him coaching at University of Michigan in a year. However, he's done a great job with those running backs, man. He has done a really good job with those running backs, and I can't imagine what he could do here, not only in recruiting, right? Because that resume he built at Ohio State, that comes with him, right? So all these running backs are, oh, yeah, running back guys at Ohio State. Here's the coach. He's at our school, right? So you probably want to come play for this guy and build something special with Sharon. I think it was a good move for him. I think it's a good move for Michigan. I think everybody wins except for Steven Cherry Blossom and Ryan Day.
So think about this for a second. Now, he's already been announced by Michigan. That tells you something right there. That tells you this business is going on for weeks. Because now it takes forever for, hey, man, I was talking to one of the coaches. He said, man, my wife started asking me, you got to tell me something? Because the background check was taking so long, DG. His wife was like, wait a minute. Is there some skeletons in your closet that is taking, 3 weeks for a background?
He was surrounded by Sharman. He said, am I surrounded by skeletons? What's going on?
Right. So my point is, that tells you that he was announced by Michigan. That tells you this has been going on for weeks. So he's had to ponder this for weeks. Okay. Now, it could look a certain way. It could look a certain way before you actually see it on the field. Like, okay, it's you just getting into the new year. Michigan just won the championship. You just went, and fumbled the rock against Missouri. But, you got all your guys coming back. Mm-hmm. You're still feeling kind of a little nervous about it, right? You can have second thoughts. You got different coaches kind of left. Mm-hmm. Maybe and people was talking. You had Michigan fans like, oh, what is Sharon going to do? He recovered nicely, right? He went out and got a real good stat.
The one thing that I've seen is Sharon has shown great poise.
Right.
It seems like there's been no and obviously we saw him as a coordinator and as a head coach, during the season. But this is different when you're expected to do the job and all those different things. He's showed great poise. Lose my cart. Hey, Alfred, you good? Come on, pull up. You know what I mean? Like,
but then he got a chance to see it. We actually going in the spring ball. Chip Kelly is in here. We seeing we got the new plays. We know how this going to look. So he had a chance to say, you know what? I'm not going to do it because nobody knew. Like, I've known they were looking at this for weeks. I didn't say a word. Other than it could be, I started dropping hints, said it's going to be a jaw dropper. Even some Buckeyes say, Sam Webb, Scam said it's going to be a jaw. Hey, it's not if it's true and if it's free, is it a scam? I'm helping you out. Pay attention. I'm giving it to you for free. Anyway, he had a chance to see it, right? He had a test drive, DJ. He was able to open it up. He was able to put pedal to the metal. He was able to go on a date, right? They was able to, have a little trip to Vegas.
Maybe even got the first base.
Yeah, man. Run the bases a little bit.
Yeah.
He had that experience and still said, hell no, I got to get out of here.
When he looked around, what did he see all around?
He still said, I'd rather go to Michigan.
What did he see all around him, Sam? When he looked
all that Charmin around him. He looked around and said, I'm surrounded by this damn Charmin.
You know what else was around him? Cherry blossoms. It was cherry blossoms and Charmin everywhere. He said, I can't play football like this. I can't coach.
If he thought for a second that, hey, man, Michigan ain't going to beat us. Michigan ain't going to beat us. Why would he leave? Like, he's seen it. He knows what it looks like. And he said, I still got to coach Ryan Day. Oh, hell no. Let me get out of here. let me get out of here. Now, let me give some props to Sharon. Because the way this unfolds, and I go into this in a piece over on the MichiganInsider.com, you got a period immediately after he gets the job where he is very optimistic about all the coaches staying. And then very quickly, almost in an instant, he realizes, wait a minute, a lot of these dudes might Ben Herbert's going, clinking them, looking around, Mike Elston looking around. Mike Hart had already turned down a contract extension because, Jim had let contracts expire for Ron, for Grant, and for Mike. And so if you order and you realize, wait a minute, Jim might bounce and he didn't sign these coaches, I better go in and offer them extensions. So he turned it down. They all turned it down, but Mike turned it down. He's like really weighing his options. So if you're Sharon, you got to start really thinking about, what am I going to do? Who am I going to go to? And at that time, you hear from your old pal, Tony Alford, like, hey, Ron, I'm interested.
I like running backs.
Right. I like the way you're going to get down.
Hey, I always kind of like Maize and Blue myself.
Yeah, let me think about this. And so the way that he's been able to navigate this and land on outstanding coaches and outstanding recruiters, this is the one place that if you were questioning 38 years old, we talked about this before, Devin, the 38 years old, he's shown that his composure belies his age.
Yeah.
We saw it when he moved from tight ends coach to O-line coach when this was after 2020. And you have players saying, get him out of here. Fans, when Jim got rid of Ed Warner for Sharon, now, what the hell are you doing? Dude never coached O-line. He was ready for the action. Then Sharon moves from O-line coach to offensive coordinator. Ready for the action. Moved from offensive coordinator. Now he's coaching the toughest games of the year. I got to go head to head with Urban Meyer. I'm up to the task. He's punking out left and right.
No.
Go for
Not Urban Meyer. I hope not Urban Meyer.
Not Urban Meyer. Sorry. Herb. I'm sorry, Herb.
As much as I know you don't like Herb, but don't you disrespect Herb now.
Herb. See, Herb had a tough team and a tough scheme.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Herb. No disrespect intended in this regard. I disrespect you other times.
Of course.
This disrespect is intended for Ryan Day only. It's not disrespect if it's true.
Yeah.
Like, he came in and he finessed up the scheme. He was going to come in and he was going to do it better than Urban Meyer. And he's been getting dealt with ever since, right? Once Michigan got mad enough to give him some act right. Couldn't match that. See, that's the one thing that you got with Urban Meyer. You were always going to have a tough scheme to match his tough team.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not Ryan Day.
Playing those games against Urban Meyer teams, like, as much as they were spread, you felt how violent they were, right? And even on defense, right? Even like, and just, not to put this out there. I mean, I got down on them. You know what I mean? They had nothing to do. They couldn't deal with me. Is what I'm saying. However, I limped out of those games. Like, I wasn't feeling good. Like, you know what I mean? Physically after being in those battles, because they had, like you said, they were a tough team, but they also had a tough scheme. They had some violent football players that had bad intentions. And I think, like you said, I think Ohio State still has a lot of those guys. But when you leave high school, right, you got this chip on your shoulder, you got this attitude about you, and you leave high school and then you go into an environment that maybe isn't the toughest, right? Doesn't have the toughest scheme. You kind of lose that. Like, it's hard for when you go to a locker room and it's 105, right? And you're the one, right? You're the run rock, or maybe you say it's 20 rocks, right? 20 hard guys, but they're freshmen. And you go into this locker room of 105 guys and the scheme isn't that tough. You aren't going to change the scheme. The scheme's going to change you, right? It doesn't work like that where freshmen get to come in and just completely overhaul a culture and a kind of attitude. The attitude usually makes the players kind of fit what the attitude already is, in my opinion. And so, like you said, I think they do recruit tough guys. Like you said, Michigan is vying for a lot of those same guys and lose out for those guys, right? Ohio State seems to always get to recruit. And we got Stephen Cherry Blossom in here, and he has to be sick. We lose all these players to Ohio State, and then we still punching their face in when the game comes. And then they get your running back coach, who I think is the one constant, right? The one consistent thing at Ohio State. And now he's going to be at Michigan.
Think about that. He's fired everybody
except for him.
Mm-hmm. Right? What that said. So for all these Buckeyes saying, "Oh, he's overrated. Oh, he's
always overrated when he's on the other team."
Well, why did Ryan Day, who fires everybody anyway, why did he fire Tony Alford? Right? Didn't fire Tony Alford. There's a reason for that. I think about it.
I'm gonna tell you another reason. I'm gonna tell you another reason too, Sam. Aside from being a real good coach, Tony Alford ain't playing them games. He ain't playing them games. When I met him, he's stern. He real stern, and he's about his business. Don't play with me, Ryan. You know this ain't on me. Don't play with me, Ryan. It's gonna be some smoke in the city in Columbus, right? So that's probably part of the reason too.
Right, and think about it. Hey, he ain't scared of Ryan Day. Hey man, he no qualms about. Hey, I'm gonna coach 5 spring practices. I'm gonna get the playbook. And what you gonna do about it?
That's crazy.
What you gonna do about it?
I'm telling you, when I met him, I can see that he don't care what you got going on. I'm just doing my job. I'm here to do my job.
Hey man, hey, they was talking about kind of stallions. Hey, they still in our play. Hey, Buckeyes, we got the playbook now.
They got the playbook now. Hey, not only do they have a playbook, Sam, they got the playbook because they did the sprint. Like, they got the day one install now. That has to suck, man. I empathize with Ohio State fans. Hey, Cherry Blossom, don't leave. Come back. Cherry Blossom, can you stand here? Everybody wants to hear from you. We feel for you, man. We empathize with your situation. Hey, we got openings. We got openings to just jump on the bandwagon if that's what you want to do.
Hey, man. Hey, and he was doing all that play. Ryan Day calling everybody. He calling all these teams. Hey, Michigan's still in our size. Got the playbook now, Ryan. I guess, you know what? Just did Ryan a favor. Ryan just gave you another excuse, brother. You got another excuse.
This one ain't going to ride, though. I don't think this is going to ride, Sam.
That might buy you some more time.
No, I don't think that, Sam. I don't think that.
You think so?
No.
You don't think
so?
4
times in a row. Even at Michigan, you lose to Ohio State 4 times in a row. It gets pretty ugly. Ohio State is used to winning and dominating, and they had been so dominant over Michigan for so long. They don't understand where they are. They don't like this, right? And that's why they in the chat right now. You know what I mean? They don't like it, and so that's tough, man. That is tough. You have made a lot of valid points today, Sam. And I tell you crazy all the time. You are very crazy.
And Buckeyes, I care about you.
No, you don't.
I try to be honest with the Buckeyes. I'm trying. Listen, I want y'all to be good enough for me to be satisfied with kicking that ass. I don't want to just to be. I'm just saying. You deserve better. I actually think you deserve better than Ryan Day. I really do.
All right. How about this, Sam?
I won't miss him when he's gone.
Who do you think would be a good replacement for Ryan Day at Ohio State?
Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. You think you do it?
Would Mike Vrabel come back to his alma mater and coach him?
But he's been out. Maybe not outstanding, but a really good NFL coach. Don't you think it's hard to be a really good? I mean, I guess Harbaugh did it technically, but don't you think it's hard to be such a really good coach, get kind of a bad shake? Because I think Tennessee did him wrong, right? And then go coach in college and have to deal with recruiting all over and all that.
Jim Harbaugh did it.
That's what I'm saying. I know Jim Harbaugh did it. As we know, Jim Harbaugh is a different human.
Yeah.
Vrabel, from all the people I've talked to, all the Ohio State guys that know him and have kind of, been around him, they say he's very normal. Like he's a common guy like us. You know what I mean? And so you think he would want to deal with?
I don't know. I don't know.
College football is totally different now, man. It is totally different.
You ask me who would balance the equation more than a dude who claims he wants to be tougher and then he go get Chip Kelly. Like, stop.
That don't match. And I like Chip Kelly. I like what he does with quarterbacks, all that, whatever.
He want to smell fresh to go put on dirty draws. DG, make
it
make sense.
A weird signing. And if I'm Alford, just think like that, right? Everybody knows Chip Kelly, really good coach, great offensive scheme, all that. However, everything that he does lent to being in the Pac-12, which everybody knows is not the toughest conference. Well, not even close, right? It's not very tough, right? And it's gone now, right? Not a tough conference. And so he's had a lot of success, but in that atmosphere. And then we see him when he plays those different teams across the country in different conferences, like, oh, that don't always work. You're going fast and you getting off the field fast and you're giving up a lot of points. And if you don't score every time, not the other team got the ball, you ain't got the rhythm. You're not hitting those shots. And thinking like a basketball player, you're not hitting those shots. You can't get a rhythm. You know what I mean? And so the way they play football, that kind of basketball on grass, it's so weird that you have this, post game. Everybody saw the viral post game of how Lou Holtz, he attacked Lou Holtz about how tough his team is, and then you play Michigan again, right, at Michigan, without the signs, all that, and even though the game was closer, it still just looked like Michigan was a tougher football team. Period. The answer is to get Chip Kelly to control things. I don't know, man. I don't know about, and like I said, I like Chip Kelly as a coach. I think they might have two of the best play callers in the history of college football on the same staff. But does that lend to you beating Michigan? I don't know about that.
And I think that's what Tony said. I don't know, Tony. We got Vance Bedford, who coached Tony at Colorado State. He was one of the assistants on that staff, has known him for almost 40 years, saying it's an outstanding home run hire. He would know better than me, but I gotta believe that he surveyed the area because he coached under Herb. He knows the difference.
Sam, do you understand how many players they retained and also added to that roster and he left?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not to mention, as much as I love our running backs and I think 28, I can't think of his name right now, 28 in Michigan, and obviously we have Donovan, but 28 is nice. I really like 28 from the very first carry of the spring game last year. You go back and watch. I was on him.
Benjamin
Hall. From the very first carry in the spring game, I said, oh, no, he's got something. And I think he's going to be a special player. But Henderson at Ohio State is another animal. He left him. You know what? You stay here. I'm going to go ahead over and coach those young guys at the University of Michigan. That's crazy. Like, Henderson is probably the first back off the board in the draft next year. Would you agree with that at this point right now? Most people probably
I think Donovan is
of course, he's going to work his way to it. But at this point right now, if you go next year projection, Henderson's the first back off the board, probably. Yeah. Likely for most people. You left that.
Well,
what?
Yeah. I mean, because Tony, I mean, he knows down there. I mean, how much are you really going to feature Trevion Henderson?
Yeah.
How much you really going to do that? Whereas at Michigan, hey, the back he's going to get his carries. He's going to get his catches.
Hey, like, he looks like toughness personified. Look at the picture.
Oh, yeah.
He's supposed to be at Michigan.
Hey, man. Hey, I get it.
Hey, you know he's stocky. He a little bow-legged a little bit. Like, tell him, man, he a pit bull. Supposed to be at Michigan.
Hey, he's looking around. He's saying, hey, man, I'm tired of this damn Sharman being all around me. Let me get the hell on up out of here. Because it ain't getting no better. It ain't getting no better with Chip Kelly coming around.
Sam, so I think we lost Cherry Blossom.
He let the next move be his best move, even with a coach who is going into his first. Think about this. This man has been a head coach for how long now? He's worked with them for how long? He's seen everything they got coming back. He's seen everything they got coming in. And he still said, I'm going to Michigan.
No, not only that, Sam, you forgot one thing. Saw everything going out, coming in, all that, and seen him practice for 5 days. Like, you've seen what Chip Kelly brought. Like, if he had saw what Chip Kelly brought to the table, it was like, oh, shoot. Oh, he could change his mind. Wasn't nothing signed? Nothing signed. Nobody knew. Obviously, nobody at Ohio State knew, right? Because they were still letting him coach. So he could have very easily said, you know what, Sharon? You my guy, but nah, bro, I can't do this. Yeah.
Because
I got the number one back in the country. I got 15 quarterbacks. You know what I mean? I can't do it. Our star defensive players came back. We got the best safety in the world from Alabama to come. I can't leave this. We're going to get the ball back frequently and get on offense a lot. I can't leave this, Jerome. I love you. I can't do it. He didn't say that.
He did not. So, Buckeyes, listen. Your plight, if you just listen to me, at least you'll be expecting it. At least you'll be expecting it. Because I'm willing to lay off of what I believe to be the case is that everybody kind of see that Ryan Day feeling the pressure and just say that, Tony is feeling like that's his man, Sharon, and there's more job security in Ann Arbor. It could, that's your glass half full perspective. He left for more job security. He knows if they lose to Michigan one more year, everybody's fired. Now, it ain't up to Ryan about who gets fired because he's getting fired too. Whereas you go up here with Sharon, he has they just won a national championship. He's going to be straight for a few years at least, right?
And I don't think it's quite KD to to the Warriors. I don't think it's KD to the Warriors. I don't think he was getting his butt kicked. I think they were losing. I don't think Alford was getting his butt kicked though.
See, this way different because KD, now, no disrespect intended for Sharon and Donovan and all that, but hey man, ain't no Steph Curry up here right now.
Ain't no Steph Curry.
You know what I'm saying? Hey man, Steph and them won the championship without KD.
Ain't the preseason polls Michigan barely in the top 10, ain't it?
Hey man, right? I saw him 13 in one poll.
Yeah,
So he went from a team
that's number one on most polls,
or the top 5 at least, to a team ranked outside the top 10. Man, what you think that's not about your players, Ohio State? It's not about your players. That's about your head coach. This is an indictment of your head coach. So we should just clip this real quick because I'm just give you what's probably gonna happen, or what can help save Ryan Day if they do not beat Michigan. Which the way it's going, obviously we got to see a little more. You know, I'm not the guy to just pick Michigan just because, right? I have the last 3 years I've given great facts and things to back why I was picking Michigan. Okay, but say they do lose to Michigan again. The only thing that saves Ryan Day, if they don't fire him before the bowl game and in the playoffs, is he got to go win the national championship if they lose to Michigan. He got to go because they'll probably get in, right? Because they just win all their games and then lose to Michigan. That's, that should get you into the playoff with the top 12 teams, and you have to go win the national championship. So for Cherry Blossom and all the different people from Ohio State in the chat, you do have a path through, right? You lose to Michigan this year, Michigan wins the Big Ten championship, or maybe not, whatever the case may be. But you still get in the playoff and you get an opportunity to go fight for a national championship where maybe you're on the opposite side and you don't have to see Michigan. But then there's that other instance where you might have to see Michigan again, and then it's 2 losses in 1 year. That's tough. But your chance to glory is, national championship, I think. It'd be good. Good luck with that.
Look at that. I just gave all that hope. Hope is a drug.
Good luck with that. Because this dude has tried everything. His only hope is that Michigan is falling off so much that he can finally get it done because Michigan fell off. But I would feel a lot less confident about that take when my running back coach just said, man, I see what we got, and it ain't enough. I'm getting the hell out of that.
Sam, I got a question. So, spring ball finishes, portal opens again. Does that roster at Ohio State change now because of this move?
I don't know. I mean, I can't.
Right, so he saw through spring ball. All the other players going to see through to finish the spring ball, and he's gone. Does that roster change in a lot of different ways? Because he recruited a lot of those guys, right? Does that roster change? Not saying they're going to all go to Michigan or anything like that, but does that roster change because, hey, one of the coaches that's the one mainstay here is finally like, nah, this ain't it. So why should we stick around?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much juice he has with the crew, to be able to compel them to move in that way. But it would say a lot to me. I told you when I saw he brought in Chip Kelly, like, wait a minute. This man just ran from a head coaching job. Like, he running the show, and he rather be a subordinate. Like, what coach don't want to be the boss? Like, this dude don't want to be the boss. Like, how soft is that?
Yeah, it was really weird for me just because, like, I don't know Chip Kelly personally, but from what I've seen through the years and talking to people, he is a do it my way or the highway. I don't take orders. I'm the boss guy, right? Which a lot of people are, and you got to be in some aspects, right? He's not much of a collaborator, to say, for lack of a better word. He's not a collaborator. This is my shit. So now the question is, because I saw his press conference when he talked about how he, just happy coaching again, just being able to coach, not to worry about all the other politics, and this NIL is killing people, by the way. These head coaches like, man, I ain't come here for all this dealing with contracts and all this. Why am I talking to a kid's agent? It's Nick Saban's, he getting TV job now. He like, nah, I'm good on this. I'm gonna go ahead, roll on out of here. I did NFL. That didn't work out because of that. And then this is the NFL now. Like, miniature, can't do it. Right. And so a lot of coaches are being run out for that. But maybe it is that he just wanted to coach football again and not have to worry about all the other stuff.
Soft. don't want the heat, and that's who you hired to just run your offense. Hey man, give me that. Give me that. You, I mean, you strong. You like, man.
Because of his personality, though, is Ryan Day still running things? Because I remember when Coach Nussmeier came in and we with Coach Hoke. Coach Nussmeier was almost pretty much the head coach. I'm just gonna tell you, Coach Nussmeier was running things. Now, whole practice shift, everything was different in practice. Like we was doing everything totally different, and it was almost like, at least on the offensive side, that Hope just complete backseat. You don't get no input. Stay away from here. We're going to do this how we do this. But when you alter the practice, that alters it for the defense too. That's what I'm saying. Coach Nuss seemed like he was the head coach. Hey, I'm not going to Hoke if I got issues. Hey, Nuss, hey, get this figured out for him. You know what I mean? So is it that situation where, hey, you're grasping for straws because you're in dire straits right now. You lost to Michigan 3 times in a row. Let's get a guy who's a fire-breathing dragon. We all know that about Chip Kelly. And you run everything. I'm still the head coach, but he's maybe still running. He's not now running everything, possibly, except for the NIL and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I just know that Tony's looked at him and said, "Oh hell no, hell no. This ain't gonna do it. Let me get on up here with Sharon."
Chip Kelly could have talked to him crazy too, and I don't see Alford as a guy that's taken too lightly as somebody talking to him crazy.
A whole new offense, a whole new staff. Rather than that, whole new coach 4 games as a head coach total. He'd rather go work for him than stay at Ohio State.
And I think it's less of work for him and work with him, because like we know about Sharon, big time collaborator, will always lean on other people. Knows what he doesn't know and will seek out what he doesn't know so that he does know. He is going to work with Sharon Moore, in my opinion.
Hey, Buckeyes, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all being in the chat. Please keep helping our numbers go up. Right. Please keep thinking Ryan Day is that guy. Like,
Ben, put AK's comment. He said, I know Chip Kelly snores like a boy.
In your heart of hearts,
you got to breathe.
You know I'm right. Because all the stuff I say about Ryan Day after they took that last ass whooping, which wasn't as bad. So at least the ass whooping got lighter. Yeah. Like he went from getting whooped with a tree branch to getting whooped with a switch. So it was better. It was still a whooping, but it wasn't as bad, right? So there's progress. So that was enough for maybe enough Buckeye fans to latch on to. But in the immediate aftermath of the loss, there was a whole lot of Buckeye fans saying, man, he not wrong. Sam not wrong. Y'all know I'm not wrong. You hate to say it now, which I get. I understand. You can keep it. You can send me a DM. Keep it private. I won't tell you.
Keep it private. You don't got to tell your fellow fan base. Just keep it private. I won't tell nobody. Hey, Ohio State fans, he will tell everybody. Don't send him a private DM saying supporting nothing Michigan. He is gonna put you out there.
Hey man, how you lose in the offseason? It ain't even recruiting. How you lose that? How you lose an offensive coach? Like, I mean, that's what you do, right? You're an offensive coach, an offensive guru. You got the number 1 running back in the country from a couple years ago, the number 1 running back in the portal, and you can't keep your running back coach? How bad is that? How inadequate is that? Don't you feel like,
See, Sam, we talked earlier about how can former players, say things and give their opinion. This is how you shouldn't, former players. If you're talking about your own team, Sam just takes all these shots at people. He just keeps taking all these shots. Sam, don't you let me finish. Sam taking all these shots and using certain words and different things like that. That's how you don't do it, former players of a program. You can get your point, because I'm telling you right now, I know Sam. Sam is a great friend of mine since he wasn't my friend back then because I was young. You don't be friends with kids, but you know what I mean? I'm grown up now. Sam knows how to be diplomatic about things. He could say this in a nicer way, but he's choosing to attack. So former players of programs say these things, but not like Sam is talking about Ohio State. He's attacking them.
Hey, I said this back in 21. I said Ohio State. Ryan Day said, well, we just had to let them score. I said, they running it up your behind. What you mean let them? But I said, okay, you just assisted with Michigan in whipping your ass. That's what you just did here all spring long. You assisted Michigan in whipping your ass again.
I love Gavin McLean bringing up the archives. He bringing up the archives.
Your grandmother tell you to go pick your own switch to assist in your own ass whooping. That's what Jerome Moore just did. This is akin to you picking your own. You had the enemy coaching your practices for like 5 practices in a row. He got the blueprint. He got the install. He know everything you're doing. He know the new personnel. Come on, man. You couldn't see that coming? You had no idea that he was thinking about, I got to get the hell out of Dodge? How bad is that? How much do you lack self-awareness for that to happen?
Sam,
think about how inadequate as a coach you have to be.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just stating the obvious. I'm stating the obvious. Like you just had the coach that just flipped. Like if this happens before spring ball, it's not even as bad, right? But he been in the meetings. He been sitting down with Chip Kelly. We gonna do X, Y, Z. This is what we gonna do with this player. This is how we gonna emphasize this guy. He's seen it all, right? You couldn't tell. Like you always evaluating your staff, right? You got to reevaluate your staff every. You couldn't reevaluate him and realize that, hey man, maybe I'm not really seeing it. This dude ain't really feeling me like that no more. I can't really tell that coaches kind of think, I'm not the same dude anymore. You passing, you going outside the program to get this and get that. Maybe I need to.
Hey, I think that's a big.
My own guys a little more. I'm just saying.
I don't think that's being talked about enough. The way Ohio State is going about things is because they always have the top 5 class, and as far as recruiting, top 5, top 3, whatever. But they're going out and spending so much money because Ohio State was kind of like Alabama in that. Hey, you got 3 years to do what you got to do, brother. Because we getting these top recruits, they expect to play. We can't have you here for too long. You know what I mean? Because that's just how it works. And now you get first, we retain all these guys. So all these top recruits we had, they got to wait another year. Then we bring in other young guys and other players. And it's just like, do you remain in the top 5 of recruiting the way they've been all this time after that type of thing? That I think there's a lot of shakeup happening. It's going to be a lot of shakeup.
Hey, man, this dude don't even know his problems. Like, he in the press conference about to pass out because Jeremiah Smith stick with the recruitment. Wide receiver ain't been your problem, right?
You got plenty of wide receivers.
You got plenty of wide, like dog. You got wideouts.
Hey, that was a funny video though. That was funny when he did that. He did like the fake faint thing. That was cool.
Really? That wideout, great player, great talent. But
hey, he is super nice. Hey, that dude nice.
Oh, he nice. Marvin Harrison was nice, right? You didn't have Garrett Wilson was nice.
Yeah.
Like you done had nice dudes.
Chris Olave.
Olave was nice.
Nice, yeah.
Like you done had receivers and still got that ass whooped. So I mean, kind of gotta recognize the problem here.
Hey, you remember that Kobe and Kanye commercial? More receivers. Hey, how much you want? How many more? More receivers. They just haven't gotten to the point yet because Kobe just said more. Get a couple more, and they're gonna get over that hump. More. How many more receivers you want? More receivers.
I hear you. Well, folks, listen. I could do this all day.
I know you can.
I'm gonna be doing it for weeks and months, right? I got a morning show tomorrow. We got the MGO Blog Roundtable. We got more in the Hopper and Buckeyes. I mean, come on. Whenever you want a little dose, just come in my mentions. I'll engage with y'all when I have the time.
Oh, Sam will engage.
And just because y'all think I'm scamming y'all so much, I'll give y'all the information for free. Like y'all, I'll give you discount, free. $3.99 for all Buckeye fans, whatever you want to hear. All right? Because I know y'all starving down there for the truth. I get it. So we help y'all out. I love it. Man, it's been the most watched Dropping Dimes today. Over 5,000 people in here live. You got to love it, right, DG? 5,000 in here live. That's strong, brother. That's strong.
That's strong.
They wanted to hear what we had.
Hey, and I don't remember who it was. I seen one of y'all talk about, I got a doo-doo tank top on. That's not funny and that's not nice. Whose side are you on? And then Daniel, who's on this with us, gonna talk about no, that's baby doo-doo. What?
Hey, look, Moose said, yeah, he still doesn't understand why receiver ain't the issue. Come on,
oh, man. I think Cherry Blossom left, man. We had Cherry Blossom in here, and he didn't dip out on us, man.
Jared, I love you too. I love all y'all. This has been a great day. Listen, do y'all know how hard it was to sit on this for weeks? You can't.
Sam didn't even tell me, y'all.
Because listen,
He didn't tell me.
like, it's one thing to have it, but it wasn't even about the scoop. It was about this moment to really be able to talk to the Buckeye fans about how bad this is. You had a coach working for you for weeks, planning to get the hell out of Dodge. Like, and then see what you have to offer and still want to get out of Dodge.
I don't think Daniel ain't on our team, man. He ain't on my team at least. Talking about some baby food deal.
Oh, that's so bad. So I can't wait for November. I think you guys all know that. This will sustain me for a good period of time. My wife, she's like, oh man. The wife say, hey man, woo, this is the time to have whatever you want, honey. I'm in a good mood. Buckeyes, don't nobody do it like you. I gotta tell you.
Hey, that's Sam right now. That's Sam. He's smoking him a good old cigar right now.
This has been great. Yeah, Moore is a mastermind. You right, Antoine. He masterminded the hell out of this. Because he's been working on this. I mean, they announced the man, but he done cleared the background check already. That's like weeks in the making. So welcome, Tony.
Poise is the word that comes to mind with Sharon Moore. Poise.
Yeah, welcome to Tony. I understand, man. If I got my ass whipped like that, I want to stop getting my ass whipped too. Right? Well, whatever I got to do to get this to stop getting my ass whipped on, I'm going to do that. Right? So if you got to go to Michigan and I get that ass whipped, let's go. Right? So we welcome you with open arms. Your ass will feel so much better in Ann Arbor.
No, it ain't, Sam. We use tree bark when we use the bathroom here. Tree bark.
Hey, so we've been talking QB situation on the website. We went into that last week. We'll get Devin's take on Alex Orji and the guys and Denegal as we get in the spring ball. We will touch on all of that. So I'm getting calls left and right. I got people in the stream. Shout out to my man Levi Bradley down in Chicago. Right, a lot of people hollered at me. People want to know about the backstory to Tony Alford coming to Michigan. I put up a blog, my real recognized real report over on the MichiganInsider.com. I will link it right here, right now. Now you got to be a VIP member. Buckeyes, you can get you get the first week free. If you just want to read this about how it all went down, you can do that. I'll put it in the chat right now.
Hey, AK is one of our funniest viewers, man. He said, "Your ass will feel much better" is a wild quote. That's a wild quote, Sam. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You said that, Sam. You said that. Hey, AK, next time you got to put dash Sam Webb. We know who said that craziness.
Hey, man, only the Buckeyes. That's why only the Buckeyes. Used to be Spartans, but they don't even matter no more. So we don't do the Spartans right now.
Yeah, we don't even talk about them.
Yeah, they start mattering. We'll get back on Michigan State. Right now, see, Ohio State, at least you matter. At least I'm spending some time on you. I don't even spend no time on Spartans no more. So that tell you something right there, right?
Do not get Sam
how much
going.
I love you.
Do not get Sam going on Michigan State. Please.
I can't. I don't even have time for them. Michigan State don't even register on the meter anymore. So, folks, this has been the best Droppin Dimes of all, other than when Michigan beat Ohio State and the national championship. So this is number 3 on the list, right? But this is way up there. Certainly the most attended Droppin Dimes of the series. Over 5,000, the high of 5,500 people watching live. That is huge. Right, and I know a lot of you are Buckeyes. So Buckeyes,
man, they came for old DG. That's what it was. They came for old DG. That's what they did.
Because we only had today, Daniel. We only had 2,800 last week live. I'm sure DG taking all the credit.
They popped it. You said what? What'd you say?
I said you taking all the credit for it. That we doubled. We went from 2,800 to 5,600.
That's a big jump now.
All right, folks. We got to get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the Droppin Dimes. We went an hour and a half. I only planned on going an hour and 15 minutes, but that was just for the Buckeyes. Give you
Sam, hold on. Happy 313 day. Hey, happy 313 day. 313 day. I was supposed to have fun and go out, but I decided to stay here with y'all on Dropping Dimes because I love y'all. Happy 313 day to all the Detroiters out there.
Yeah, folks. Like the chat, like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the MichiganInsider.com. That's where it all goes down. If you were with us on TMI, you know, or you knew there was no list. I saw lists being thrown out everywhere. This running back coach and that running back coach. People talk about DeMarco Murray. There was only one guy the whole time. It was Tony Alford. There was no one else. He was the only guy being considered. And frankly, if you're Sharon Moore, I mean, are you really moving off of Mike Hart for anything less than Tony Alford? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. So, I mean, you got a guy who's one of the best running back coaches in the country, one of the best recruiters in the country. And, oh, by the way, you can steal him from Ohio State. Oh, my God. You got to take that.
Yeah, that's cool. But I got a comment that we need to get on here. Matt Misler, my guy, Devin, get Sam a Detroit Coney to celebrate real Conies.
Nah, brother.
Yeah, man.
Don't get me started. See,
yeah, man.
We having a kumbaya moment.
No.
Have you had a Flint style Coney?
I'm not getting down with no Flint. It's Detroit Coney or die.
So we're going to have a Droppin Dimes episode where we do Flint style versus Detroit style. But this ain't that time. This is all stomping on the Buckeyes' ass. That's what this whole episode was.
You being a bully now, Sam. We don't bully here at Dropping Dimes. We just drop dimes, and they may hit some heads as they fly down. We drop them from a high distance way up, but we don't bully. You've made your point, Sam. You've made your point.
I hear you. That's why we get out of here. But I'm just, if you were on TMI, I told you there was a jaw-dropping hire on the horizon. Didn't embellish. Told you there was no list. Right? Saw all these names being thrown out everywhere. It was always only Tony Alford. For weeks, it was only Tony Alford. And Sharon Moore got his man. And I need to close with that. If you had doubts about Sharon Moore's readiness for this moment, if none of the moves he was, Wink Martindale or any of the other hires he was able to make, if none of those moves convinced you of his readiness, this ought to. This is a boss move if I ever seen one. Big time goes to Sharon.
He was kind of like Charlie Murphy on I mean not Charlie Murphy, I'm sorry. Rick James on Charlie Murphy and Eddie's couch. He stumped them feet in that couch. Come here. Give me your guy. He's our guy now.
All right.
Look at me. I'm the captain now. That's what Rose said.
This has been a great one. Thanks a lot for spending this hour and a half with us. We'll see you next time on the next edition of Steady Dropping Dimes. We'll see you next week.